The Galley kitchen layout has historically gotten a bad rap as the most undesirable layout. But size does not need to upset the flavor of one's culinary creations, nor the look of one's dream home. In fact, a recent surge in its popularity is proving that what these idiosyncratic layouts lack in square footage, they make up for with clever spatial tricks. Function aside, these pocket-sized powerhouses also offer limitless potential for style that packs a punch, as designer David Caffiero's ship-inspired Provincetown cottage kitchen, Eve Robinson's moody/sleek Hamptons culinary space, and Joe Lucas's high-gloss blue Wonderland prove. So, what exactly is a galley kitchen? Though galley kitchens traditionally refer to cooking spaces in planes, trains, and boats, they have been reimagined for residential spaces too. They have always solved the question of how to house a kitchen in a small dwelling, so they are still desirable and popular in urban settings where we live in smaller footprints, explains Sarah Sargent, principal of New York-based firm Cochineal Design. Unlike other kitchen layouts, which often have freestanding appliances, galley styles have their ovens, dishwashers, fridges, and microwaves built into the design so they do not skimp on counter space. These types of kitchens are ideal for small spaces, but they do run the risk of feeling a bit claustrophobic. Fortunately, Sargent has a suitable solution. We love to use a mix of upper cabinets and open shelves to break up the monotony, she shares. There are many ways to jazz a galley kitchen up. You have to think beyond white cabinets and subway tile. And there is plenty of chic galley kitchen inspiration to be had. You just need to know where to look. To help you through this ordeal, we have called the Decor archives and asked professionals how to make the most of the galley kitchen. Whether your style is traditional or contemporary, or your project low lift or a full-blown renovation, there is something below for every kind of space. Go ahead, keep scrolling for the very best galley kitchen ideas to create a delectable culinary space. Designer Lauren Buxbaum Gordon knows how to maximize a narrow space with unbridled flair. In this Manhattan apartment, she extended the glossy white cabinets all the way up to the soaring period ceilings to maximize dead space and create a sense of added height. The gleaming gold hardware and fixtures are simply the cherry on top. Tip, light wood flooring and an all-white kitchen go together like peanut butter and jelly. We are swooning over this moody kitchen built in a former fishing shack in Provincetown, Massachusetts, which is true galley style by any definition. Inspired by a ship's galley, designer David Caffiero fitted the space with a Kohler sink and fixtures by Newport Brass. The result is a narrow kitchen layout that is as enchanting as it is symmetrical. In the end, the kitchen is a testament to its setting. Here the tide comes in and goes out and things remain the same, Caffiero observes, while constantly changing with the water. The Barbie movie, have you heard of it, was released in 2023, but its biggest cultural sway, the Barbiecore trend, will linger forever, mark our words. These pink kitchen walls in an Eric Allart-designed apartment complements the black backsplash remarkably well, contributing to an overall feel of warmth, ease, and a certain Parisian je ne sais quoi, suprématie de Barbie. A patterned tile mosaic is not the only interesting thing in this paradisiacal culinary space. Officine Gullo's design of this farmstead-turned-luxury hospitality space, Tenuta Carleone in Rada, Italy, boasts warm sunshine yellow cabinetry with stainless steel appliances and polished chrome hardware that seamlessly come together to create a sun-splashed utopia. This kitchen, part of an early Frank Gehry designed house, offers a study in harmonious contrasts. A ceiling of bare wooden planks commingles well with concrete floors and stainless steel appliances. Proof that Gehry's comparatively aggressive deconstructivism does not need to be at odds with comfortable living. When Caterina Fabrizio, the second-generation co-owner of her family's textile house, Dadar, came across the ground floor flat of a neoclassical 1930s villa, she fell in love with its double-height ceilings and generous full-length windows, but the narrow galley kitchen was smaller than envisioned. Her solution? Drench it in bright firehouse red lacquered cabinets that make a statement and make the most of the small layout. Just because you have a small kitchen does not mean you cannot adorn it with items you love and use on a regular basis. This dreamy setup in a Hollywood Hills abode, courtesy of Decor A-list designer Garrett Hunter, is playful and replete with unexpected touches like the Ming Dynasty table, Spanish majolica pendant, and mismatched bohemian prints on the walls. Let loose a little and create a kitchen you actually want to see every day. When it comes to kitchen design, Joe Lucas adheres to his own golden rule. No white kitchens, Lucas explains. Before, the cabinets were all white, so we immediately painted them. This high-gloss galley kitchen, elevated with a splash of bluebird blue, in Lucas and David Heika's sunny California home, proves the timeless appeal of blue cabinets. This blue kitchen is always azure to impress. This high-in-the-sky kitchen, located 821 feet above Tribeca, features vertiginous floor-to-ceiling cabinetry in a shade that matches the blue sky just beyond. Our favorite detail? The kitchen island houses the stovetop for ultimate space optimization that is honing all the galley-style vibes at no expense to openness. Remember when we said navy cabinets are bold? Enter this vivid green wonder, which takes 2024's brat summer trend and absolutely runs with it. The home of an artist practically demands riskiness in its aesthetic identity, and Julie Polidoro's Roman apartment is a case in point. Polidoro tells us she went for a green grass that reminds one, in a subliminal way, of where our food comes from. This is not your run-of-the-mill tile mosaic and sunshine yellow kitchen. The cabinetry in the pictured Hamptons cooking space is intentionally made of ebony-stained ash, while the counters are decked out in a carbon gray stone. Designer Eve Robinson framed and contextualized light neutrals, like the overhead oak paneling you see, with dark surroundings throughout the whole home, so that it never, ever feels too predictable. The color palette of this kitchen is oh so soft and was actually inspired by Prada stores. It is not all eye candy, though. Trust us. Couple Daniel Cole and Nick Grinder, with the help of architecture and interiors firm Studio DB, ensured the small space was both integrated and insulated. This was achieved through the addition of porthole windows inserted into the dual pocket doors that separate the kitchen from the rest of the apartment. These stainless steel shelves bought by designer Timothy Brown from a restaurant supply store would be 100% approved by the entire cast of The Bear. They are a less conventional choice than, say, millwork ones, but are more resistant to the wear and tear that inevitably comes from chefing it up 365 days a year. The blue-stained pine kitchen in this Brooklyn triplex is more like a galley kitchen that has been stretched out across one wall. But there are lessons to be learned from this similarly compact setup. Observe the one feature that is cropping up in kitchens more and more: open shelving. Keep all your essentials just an arm's reach away with a fixture that showcases your finest culinary treasures. It makes for a cooking space that is as pretty as it is functional. That is, if you keep the shelves as uncluttered as possible. Just because a galley kitchen has limited square footage does not mean it cannot be a multi-purpose space. In his Milan apartment, Dimora Studios' Emiliano Salci placed a petite bistro table and chairs by the window, making the kitchen an even more high-trafficked room. Dinner with a view? Yes, please. Want your galley kitchen to pull double duty? Turn your countertops into an island by scooting a few chairs on the opposite side. Augusta Hoffman's East Village home nails the look with the help of 3 woven stools. There was nothing that designer Angie Hranowski could do on the inside of this Maine vacation house to compete with the view overlooking the Atlantic Ocean and Crockett Cove. So, taking her cues from the original architect, Emily Muir, she did not try. Here in the kitchen, she simply added a fresh coat of paint to the kitchen cabinets and covered the counters with new sheets of Formica. In this rustic yet colorful galley-like space, we would wager that nothing further is required. Mirrors, the quintessential element needed to make any room feel twice as big as it is in real life. The mirrored kitchen wall here, designed by L'Artigianato, provides just that kind of effect and pairs especially well with the moody, dark color scheme. The kitchen is in an 1890s Milanese apartment, so it deserves to be a little dramatic. This kitchen in a West Village townhouse literally says, "Let there be light." While petite in size, the space's skylights instill it with just the right level of brightness, moderated as it is by the monochromatic color palette. Stargazing while cooking late-night pesto pasta is in your near future. The kitchen in this Los Angeles home may be small, but its practical spatial solutions and custom redwood materials create a homey culinary space that punches above its weight. The oven and dishwasher are by Miele, and the sink fittings are by Vola. If you are short on square footage, you might have to squeeze in a spot to work in your living room, bedroom, or, yes, even your entryway. DIYer Ana Perez stylishly shows off how that last one is done with this redo. Creating her work-from-home meets welcome-home spot was an approximately $55 DIY project. Before, the walls were a plain white shade and lacked personality. Perez thought the colors and decor made the furniture look too serious. Instead, she wanted the space to feel fresh and full of life, so she opted to paint the walls with a unique square pattern using chalk paint and acrylic paint that she had left over from previous home projects. The first thing she did was paint the squares on a sheet of paper and put it on the wall with some tape to see if it worked, the size and color of the squares. Starting with the more inconspicuous areas of the wall, she made sure to take a step back and double-check the sizing and placement of the squares to ensure everything was in line, but without looking too uniform. To give the squares a perfectly imperfect look, Perez watered down her paints, which gave a watercolor effect and texture to some of the squares. The majority of the squares are a neutral earth tone, with the odd square painted in a brighter shade to add a pop of color. The hardest part was that it was a ton of work, she says. It was 3 complete days. Ana kept the original dark wood desk, but switched out the chair for a funky blue cow-patterned office chair, which adds to the playful vibe of the area. Nothing was purchased. She simply moved around existing objects in her home. Quirky finishing touches bring the space to life, including a ceramic Dalmatian sculpture, a circular hanging shelf, and a neon pink table lamp, creating a much more whimsical space to greet her than she had before. The end result makes us happy every day when we get home. It makes us feel love for our home, Ana says. Ana actually shared the project in the Apartment Therapist Forum and got tons of love there too. Airbnbs are not just places to stay anymore. They are often gold mines of design inspiration. With a focus on creating unforgettable guest experiences, these spaces often boast incredible aesthetics. From cozy cabins to chic city apartments, there is something to learn from every corner of each vacation rental. So, we found 6 stunning Airbnbs, all with 5-star ratings, that feature genius design elements you can easily incorporate into your own home to elevate its style and comfort. This way, you can always feel like you are on a luxury getaway. Let us dive right into these fabulous design ideas you can steal from 5-star Airbnbs. First up, roll out a statement rug in a Kennebunk Main Airbnb, the rug shines for its rainbow colors and cool, wavy shape. It works because the rest of the dining room, other than the fun and funky green chairs, is mostly understated. A bold rug can be the centerpiece of a room, drawing attention and adding a splash of personality without overwhelming the space. Next, make an accent wall with curtains. Window treatments are an unexpected and cozy focal point. Mount yours high and wide like designer Bobby Burke did in his vacation rental, so they cover the length of the wall, even if your windows do not. This gives the illusion of a bigger space and adds a layer of texture and warmth to the room. Now, let us talk about treating pink as a neutral. When you bathe an entire room in this subtle color, it somehow becomes a blank slate. What was once considered a somewhat daring hue is now a classic neutral. We love a deep peachy pink, as shown in the room designed by Zio and Sons. It is soft, inviting, and pairs well with other colors without overpowering them. Or you can embrace actual neutrals. Not at all boring, this very white rental in Hillsdale, New York has tons of main character energy. To get the same aesthetic in your home, go all in on creams, whites, and brown accents. Then mix different tones and textures of wood and layer in textiles. This creates a serene and cohesive look that is both modern and timeless. Do not be afraid to play with patterns. It is called power clashing, and the bedroom is a good place for it. Go with prints in complementary colors that vary in scale, like how Victoria Duckett accomplished in her Cape Town Airbnb. Mixing patterns can add depth and interest to a room, making it feel dynamic and lively. Remember, there are no wrong answers here. Lastly, go bold with tile and stone. Dramatic veining is very in right now, so pick a slab that has some vivid striations. Then choose tiles that sort of match it. It does not have to match perfectly. In fact, it adds a more rustic charm when things do not. For example, the bathroom designed by Whitney Romanoff of Meet West Studio features this approach beautifully. It is all about creating visual interest and a touch of drama. And there you have it, 6 design ideas to steal from 5-star Airbnbs. These rentals are proof that with a bit of creativity and attention to detail, you can transform your home into a stylish and comfortable retreat. That wraps up today's episode of Daily Interior Design Inspiration. I hope you found these tips helpful and are excited to try them out in your own home. Remember, good design does not have to be expensive, it just has to be thoughtful. Until next time, keep making your space beautiful.